Previously on Lost.
I assume you're here to stop me? I'm gonna kill you.
For the longest time, my bits boxes of cars have always looked like this. You know, I'd have a standard little tray, and with whatever I'm working on, I would just chuck bits in there. So it doesn't matter if it's like a little Japanese gunman looking dude, or if it was like a weapon or something that I could stick on a car like this rocket. I would just take all my bits and I would just stick them into a tray pretty willy-nilly, and over time I've accumulated quite a few trays with just a random mishmash of bits, and it's not the best system to organize anything. So yeah, the plan is to empty all of these out and then have specific boxes to hold specific bits, be it car bodies or car parts or wheels or odd wheels, which are when you get like just a single wheel by itself. So this is just how I sort my bits. I used to just dump them all in boxes, but with the amount of bits I've got now, I can't do that anymore. So yes, up until now, if you've been wondering how I sort my parts, I used to do it quite just messily. I used to just chuck everything together and not worry a bit about it. But now we're actually going to get these properly sorted. So yeah, let's cut to when it's all done nicely. Okay, and we are back, and the boxes are sorted, and they're all in different trays now, which is good. We've got the whole amount, you know. We've got our weapons, we've got our accessories, which are the really tiny little bits that you don't want missing. We've got a thing just for crew and for car parts, and yeah, you name it. I've got a box for everything. I've got wheels, I got odd wheels just in case, you know, I've only got one of any specific tyre. Yeah, so overall, I've got to say, this is how I'm going to be sorting my bits going forwards. And you might think, well, what does this matter? Why are you really showing us this? Well, I've received a lot of stuff. You guys know I have. If I just move these precious trays out the way, you know, I've received all sorts of bits. I've had bits sent to me by Mad Cars, Green Miniatures. I've had bits sent to me by Kyamsil Designs. I've had bits from my bits box that have been sitting around for years. I've got bits coming out my ears. So it's good to finally go, okay, so let's have a look at some of these bits. Well, I know that, you know, these pirate drivers, these count as crew, so I just need to find my tray, and there you go. All of a sudden I've got a nice selection of spaces where I can fit these guys in. So maybe, I don't know, I'll stick them in this big middle section. You know, same for these engines. You go, okay, engines, they're quite a nice bit. Let's put those in, well, I suppose car parts. Car parts makes sense, doesn't it? So not weapons, not accessories. Let's go with car parts. So now, whenever I want to open things, it's like, oh, I need to find an engine, or I need a blower for an engine. Oh, wait, I have them here in the engine section of car parts. Oh, well, what if I need a certain looking weapon? I've got a section for that. So it's, yeah, I think this is sort of the easiest way going forwards to sort your bits. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. You know, I'd need to trim off the bases for these, but all of a sudden, my modelling life is so much easier, and it can be for you too. Just pick up some of these little, you know, tray things. I mean, this is one of these little screwdriver picture mounting sets from Poundland, and it's the perfect size for some of the really tiny things. Like, look at these teeny tiny little dice. Like, these would be perfect for some sort of, you know, casino themed sort of 1980s build. But rather than potentially lose it, I can just stick it in there. And I've got all sorts. Got those barrels from Kyamsil Designs, which are really cool. you know, I've got all sorts, and I can store them all easily in these trays. And this is the big one, right? Springs. So you know how sometimes it's nice to have little suspension springs on your cars? You can do that with these. So when the camera comes back in, so these are the kind of springs you find inside lighters. Now I'm going to see if I can find one, but these are perfect if you want to do little suspensions and have actual little springs. I mean, they don't have to work as springs, but they add a great level of realism to a build just by having them on. And you can do all sorts with them. And in lighters, you tend to get two. So if you have somewhere to store them, you can start building up a little collection of them. Okay, so here we have a rather happy cigarette lighter, and you know, it doesn't have, I mean, it's got a little bit of gas left in it, but you know, if the designated smoker of the house says, well, it's no use to me now, then that's probably the sign that it's on its way out. So what we're going to do, we're going to very carefully open this up to get the delicious springs out of it. You do want to be careful with lighters. They do have, you know, even when they're fully drained, they'll still have some fuel left in them, but they're relatively easy to disassemble, to be fair. I remember when I first said to my girlfriend, oh, do you have any lighters I can take apart? She was like, oh, you after the little filament inside, like the little spark making bit? And I was like, I don't know, I just want to see what bits are in a lighter. And she was like, right, okay, just give me a minute, I'll go get you one. And she pulled this lighter apart and started taking out all these really good bits, like the spring on the inside. And I was like, what are you doing? You don't want to throw that away. And she was like, oh, I thought you just wanted this. And she pulled out this tiny little rock, this nothing piece of the lighter. I was like, yeah, I think a bit of gas is coming out of that. That's no good. I was like, no, you want these bits. You want the little teeny tiny springs. Because these are great actual real little springs to put on my cars. How can I not want those? And this bit, this is the most misleading. See, they'll escape from you. This is the most misleading bit in the whole world. If you take this part off the end, I never knew this, and I've thrown a few of these away before without realising. It screws off, right? That bit screws off, and then inside there's another spring. And look at the size of that. That's a great big spring. I had no idea. I've been chucking these things away, and these were hiding inside the entire time. Oh, it's terrible, I tell you. But yeah, there's all sorts you can do. There's all sorts of bits you'll collect over the years, and it's nice to have somewhere to actually finally put them and have it be safe and not just a mess of bits. And just to talk shop for a minute, that build I did, Ronin, that wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't have pre-sorted all my rubbish out into these trays, because I wouldn't have found that little shell, I wouldn't have found that little NOS tank. All that stuff that went into that Ronin build couldn't have been done unless I sorted out my bits. So I guess the lesson from today's episode is sort your bits. Okay, so thank you for watching Wasteland. This has been another video here at JH Miniatures. This video has been made... I'm going to leave that in. This video has been made possible by our sponsors over at Mad Cars Green Miniatures and Kyamsil Designs. So if you check out and use the code JH Miniatures, when checking out, you too can get 10% off your orders. Thank you and goodbye. But yeah, there's so many little bits and pieces that you start to accumulate. I hardly know what to do with it all. I mean, tyres, right? These are the wheels that aren't odd. Just tyres that get sort of damaged when taken off a car. You get loads of them. You get a whole little container full of these bloody things. And you're like, what the hell do I do with these? Maybe there's something I can do with these.